Good morning, Fair Oak. Welcome to Science Time. So there are two things I want to do with you today, and I think you'll really enjoy both of them. The first one, when I was at school, we called it the thirsty candle, and you'll see why later. So let's go through what you need. You're going to need some sort of plate or container that has a little bit of a rim on because we're going to put some water into there. So just make sure it's not completely flat. You're going to need some sort of jar. I've just used an old sauce jar that I've washed out and cleaned away the label because you'll need to be able to see what happens. You need a candle, and you also need an adult because we're going to need them to light the candle and be with us. So make sure you have someone there to help you. Right, if you have everything you need, let's get started. Now, I've got approximately 150 millilitres of water because I know that will fit into my plate safely without it spilling. So the first thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of food colouring just to make the water red so that we can see this really clearly in a minute. Now the next thing, this is where we need the adult. You're going to place the candle onto your plate or your container and you're going to light the candle. So just light it, make sure it's burning. Perfect. So remember being safe because you have now got a lit candle. The next thing we're going to do is very carefully pour the water into the bottom of our container. So that's the reason we coloured it with some food colouring so that we could see it really clearly. And when it's covered all of the base, stop. Next thing we're going to do, and this is why you need an adult again, is carefully place the jar over the top of the candle. What do you predict is going to happen when the jar goes over the candle? Can you tell someone? Can you explain your thinking using because? Try to give reasons. So pause the video and then have a look in a minute. And then watch. Watch really carefully. The jar's going on. Wow! Did you see that? Let's do it one more time and slow it down. Now let's really carefully lift the jar back off. Oh, it's tricky. Why is that? So why did it happen? Well, there will be more technical explanations when you get to Wyvern. But for now, the main things you need to know was that the candle flame, it heated up the air that was in the jar. Okay, and then it expanded. So inside this jar at the moment, there's air, there's oxygen in there. And it's just the same pressure as everything around it. And when the candle was burning and we popped it over the top, it heated up the air that was in the jar already. And that air expanded. And you saw some of the air molecules actually come out or escape from the jar. That was that little bit of bubbling. Do you remember seeing that? Well, when the oxygen inside the jar was used up, the flame went out. And the air inside the jar then cooled and it contracted, which created that vacuum. Do you remember at the end when I tried to release the jar? It was quite tricky to get the candle out. So there was low pressure inside the jar and high pressure outside of the jar. So then the water rose and went straight up and rose inside the jar. That was a good one, wasn't it? So other things that we can explore are the size of the jar that you use. Maybe you could use a smaller jar, or maybe a tall vase, or maybe a square-shaped vase. Does it make a difference? Think about what we talked about in the explanation. You can predict, if you try something else, predict what will happen and then carry it out and see. You might change the candle. You might have a smaller candle. You might have a birthday candle perhaps. Does that make a difference? Remember, if you're changing the variable, only change one thing at a time if you want to compare it to your original experiment. Otherwise you won't be able to compare if you change too many things at one time. So change one variable at a time and record it and let us know what happened. As always, please post your findings onto the blog. I really love seeing your photos of you guys carrying this out. It's really exciting, and it's great to see your predictions on there as well. Happy exploring. See you next time, guys. Bye for now. So for part 2, it will feel a little bit magical, but I also have to put a safety note with this. It might be better to get an adult to demonstrate if you want to do it. You can just watch mine. So let's go through what you're going to need. Absolutely essential piece of equipment is going to be the adult. Then the other things that you need are 2 to 3 birthday candles, something to secure your candles into to keep them upright and to keep them safe. Wet sand is brilliant. I don't have any. I do have an orange though, and I thought I could stick the bottoms of the candles into the orange. You might also have a cupcake. As long as they're nice and secure and they're not going to fall over, that will be perfect. You're going to make sure that you've got some sort of plate or fireproof surface to use. Ideally, you're going to need a straw for the bit later on. Now, you might not have a straw, but something like the inside of a biro would work quite well for it as well. So have a little look at the video later and see what we do and why you're going to need it. And then you're going to need some matches. We're going to explore relighting a candle using its smoke. I know it seems crazy, but it really is possible. So the first thing we're going to do is the adult is going to light the candle for you. Just like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to blow out the candle and reignite it using the white smoke. I slowed the film down, but did you see that? It looked like the flame jumped from the match. I'm now going to do it with another candle. This time you're going to have 2 candles side by side, a small distance apart. Get your adult to light both of the candles, and this is where you're going to use your straw. So you're with your straw for direction. Get the adult to blow through and blow one of the candles out. You'll have to use this for the direction because otherwise you'll blow both out. I did that earlier. But get them to blow it. But just be careful. Don't put the straw too close to the flame. So just keeping safe, have a go at the next one. Did you see that? I slowed down the film and it looked like the flame jumped from the one candle to the other, the one that was lit to the one that had gone out. So let's look at why it happens. Well, when you light a candle wick, the wax starts to melt and it changes state to a liquid. The liquid's drawn up the wick and gets hotter and will evaporate into a gas. The gas mixes with the oxygen in the air and catches fire from the flame. When we blew out the candle, the wick remained hot and the wax continued to evaporate for a while, and there was still gas above the wick. So when the flame was close, it reignited over a distance. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please stay safe. Make sure you've got an adult or someone to work with you on this one, or just watch the video. But as always, please post your videos, your photos, your observations and predictions. I really love seeing your work and it's great having you join in. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Bye for now.